broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah.
And we're back, people.
We are back. I cannot resist using this song after a 2-month break.
Yes, it's been way too long.
Hello, Blindspot fans, and welcome to the AFTERBUZZ TV Blindspot After Show. We're finally back! Woo!
Yes, we are.
We are looking at episode 11, Cease Forcing Enemy, which anagrams to In Case of Emergency, which is something you should always have programmed into your phone, believe it or not. And with me, of course, is the wonderful Stephanie Garrett.
Hey guys, I am at StephanieG3360 on Twitter and Instagram.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. We're going to have the live chat pulled up in just a moment, and we are checking the hashtag ABTVBlindspot.
Yeah.
And I have to say, thank you to Shaft Almasi, who wrote, "You know when someone appears on screen and you realize they're evil in 0.01 seconds."
Yeah.
Sigh. Like, yeah. Sometimes it's really not hard to peg the older white dude as evil in this show. They're just like, we need a new actor who's either going to be hilarious or evil.
Yeah.
You.
Right. I agree.
And that's so let's talk about that. Let's start off with that. We have Chief Inspector Jonas Fisher, who has come to investigate David's death. Mm-hmm. He's from the Office of Professional Responsibility, which that sounds made up, but okay.
Right.
It really, I'm sure it actually exists, but it sounds like they had to have something official sounding. So here it is.
Yeah. And he's so passive aggressive, isn't he?
Oh my God.
He reeks of passive aggressiveness. At least Tom was just straightforward and like, you know.
See, I keep falling back on my D&D alignments, and he seems like he wants to be lawful good. Whether or not the good thing holds up, he is definitely a little too entrenched in the lawful spectrum. I'm seeing Philip Baker in chat saying Tom 2.0.
Yeah.
I don't think he's nearly that bad.
Oh, I think he's worse.
Tom was true neutral, leaning on neutral evil. But he's lawful something or other. He's very different.
Yeah, he's got a serial killer vibe to me, almost. Like, you got 12 bodies in the basement kind of dude.
See, I don't think he's ever going to go into full-on capture and torture to get answered. Like, I don't think he's going to have Tom's MO, not even close.
Yeah.
But he is going to take the laws and the rules and whatnot and use them to his advantage. Follow them to the rule, because he seems to be very much a rules lawyer type of person. But he is going to very much do the letter of the law rather than the spirit. And that, I'm waiting for that to cause issues.
Oh, yeah.
Because he, Mayfair calls him out.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very smart, and her telling him, you want to be director, you're trying really hard for internal campaigning, and if you can disgrace and fire me, then, hey, it looks better for you, and I'm the last obstacle in your way.
Yeah.
So, even if he's...
Dexter mode.
Oh, my God.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Philip. That's what I think.
But so even if he's extremely lawful and extremely rules-oriented, that does not necessarily make him a good person. So we're going to have a very different version.
Yeah, and the fact that he's picking on poor little Mayfair, it's like kicking a kitten.
Oh, Patterson.
Right.
Oh,
I mean,
baby.
Matt Patterson, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm getting my it's been a while, people. It's been a while.
Mayfair's like kicking a puma. She'll take your foot off.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, don't
kicking
touch.
her is like
Don't
kicking
touch.
a tiger. But yeah, poor little Patterson, bless her soul. She was just, you know, I felt so bad for her.
Well, and throwing us right back into us after such a long hiatus, and I honestly don't know why we had such a long gap.
Yeah.
That was super weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
But throwing us back in as the audience and saying, no, his death is still very recent. She's still not taking time. She's throwing herself into her work as a coping mechanism. And it's still not okay, but yeah.
Yeah.
So he sits her down to question her about it because, lo and behold, she took highly classified files out of the office, and you are, you aren't supposed to do that.
No, it's a no-no.
Like, she was wrong in that regard, and it did get David killed. I mean, again, this is what sucks about it. Fisher's not wrong.
That's
in
true.
the bare bones, you broke the law. This is a thing. Like, I'm here to investigate it. But the attitude is everything.
Well, I think he's going after her for a specific reason that hasn't been revealed to us yet. And it has to do with Mayfair. So
yeah, if it's to get Mayfair out of the way, then yeah, that definitely makes sense. Especially if he knows that Mayfair will stand up for her people, as she did.
Yeah.
She tried to cover for Patterson, and that obviously is not a thing that worked out very well because he caught them out in that lie. Because Patterson is just, tiny and adorable and a total badass. But tiny and adorable and very, very honest.
Yeah.
So you just feel bad for her.
I know. I want to hug her. I want to just slap him in the face and push him out of the room and just go give her a hug.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy you want to hit with a chair.
Right. Really hard.
For more reasons than one. And you still can't go, man, he's awful. He did terrible things. It's like, it's still his job. He found one of those jobs where following his job to the letter and following the rules and the law to the letter still allows him to be an awful human being and to have power over other people, which I assume is what he wants.
Oh, yeah.
He seems like the kind of guy who got bullied in elementary school and never really got over it.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be around for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've seen a lot of Jonas. Is it Jonas?
Jonas Fisher. I think if he goes down, it's not going to be in a bloody Tom sort of way. It's going to be a very different method, and he may last until season 2 because we do have a confirmed season 2, which is awesome.
Right. Well, let's cover Oscar, who's all over
Tree
this episode.
guy.
Tree lover.
Tree guy.
Is that what I called him? Tree lover. Tree lover. Tree lover. He didn't have a name at first. Remember, now we know it's Oscar.
He didn't, and now it's Oscar.
Right.
Which is really great because this came around the day after the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
I just find that really funny.
Yeah.
We got an Oscar.
Literally. That's the only one I'm getting. No, I'm kidding. Stop it.
Well, Leo got one, so everyone's happy.
I like Leo. That's true.
So we pick up immediately where we left off with him showing Jane videos of herself saying, this is according to plan, this is Oscar, he'll answer your questions. And Oscar pretty much giving her the runaround saying, we have to follow the plan, don't do anything stupid, we need to do this. Oh, and they don't actually trust you. That's why they have a security detail on you. You're still a prisoner for that. And I don't know.
I think he's playing her.
I don't think we know enough yet to know that because we still have a pinhole view into this world. And so we don't have enough information for that. And we may get more. We have Oscar's confirmation that she is Taylor Shaw.
Yes,
but
finally.
That's Oscar's confirmation.
That's Oscar's. Right. I was like, well, that's just Oscar's opinion.
And we honestly don't know if we can trust him.
Right.
He's got the video. And the video does introduce him. And she does remember being engaged to him, having relations with him, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So he's obviously connected somehow. We can't throw that out.
Right.
But we don't know if we can trust him yet.
That's right.
And he's straight up told Jane, like, no, I have missions for you, so I can find out if I can trust you now. And then I can start telling you things. And I wrote some of this dialogue down.
Okay.
Because at the beginning, it's get them to take your detail off of you and then meet me at this building. Okay. And then at the end of the episode, it's Kurt saying, we need to talk about things. Meet me at the park near my house at the exact same time. And she never kind of told him, I have another meeting, or no, I'm not up to anything tonight, or I just need to sleep. She never told him no. So he's kind of sitting at the park like, okay.
Yeah, like, where is she?
Okay.
Yeah, poor Kurt.
Like, that's not a good way to do things. You're going to have to see him tomorrow morning.
Right.
Should have just, told him, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I figure if you're going to make plans, you might as well follow up on them. So evidently she took 4 subways and 3 taxis to get to Oscar. I took
she
copious notes during this section.
She wanted to make sure nobody was tailing her.
And he was.
He was.
And her detail was.
Of course.
So I have to wonder if, I assume she lost her detail at some point. I don't know if she lost Oscar and he just went, well, I know where I'm going to meet her, so I'll just whoop. Or if she never did.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, Oscar has little side missions for little one-person side quests.
And he made it seem like, in my opinion, and this is just me, that there was something, a bigger organization behind them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He kind of referred to it just like a tiny, tiny bit, but he was saying, well, this is what we do. And it's a much bigger picture behind what's going on. Obviously, we know that.
And this is your plan, and there's a playbook, and you came up with all of this. And I'm like, on one hand, okay, that makes all of the sense. And on the other hand, we have no confirmation for anything. You're our only person. Like, I feel like this is a show that encourages a healthy amount of suspicion going into anything.
Yeah.
For a very good reason.
Yeah. Yeah. And I kind of like it.
And I'm always wary of someone trying to shore up their case with, but we're the good guys. Like, oh, anyone who unequivocally believes that has... I don't know if you've ever watched Red versus Blue, but We're the Good Guys for me is Project Freelancer. And Project Freelancer was based on war crimes and torture and bad things. So that's just kind of like... Yeah, We're the Good Guys is immediate danger Will Robinson phrase for me.
There's a quote they always say, if the government tell you we're the good guys, then you're doomed, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, so that's pretty accurate.
We're the good guys. I immediately don't trust you.
Right.
Like, tell me why I should trust you, and we're this. We do have Philip Baker in chat. I bet Orion is the big organization in the background.
Yeah.
Because we haven't heard... Man, it's been months. Not even just hiatus months, but episode months.
Right.
Since we've heard the name Orion come around. Like, it came up twice, and then...
Yeah, away it went.
It'll show up eventually. So we have to wonder if Oscar works for them. We have to wonder if that's what the organization is. We have to wonder if they are something completely different, having to do with the SEAL team that Jane was ostensibly on, because that's when we heard about it.
Yeah.
Was from SEAL or Marine?
I think she was a Black Ops. I'm not sure. One of those. I think maybe it was Navy SEAL, because she had a Navy SEAL tattoo.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if it was SEAL, then her SEAL squadron. Terminology, guys, tonight is just not... her military people that she was ostensibly with. That's the only time we've heard Orion from someone, is from her former squad mate, partner, whatever, before he up and died. Yeah. So it may not be involved with the tattooing and whatnot at all. It may be a completely separate organization, faction person. We just don't know.
It's probably one of those things where, it's off the grid. Nobody knows about it except the people in it. Like deeper than the CIA, deeper than whatever, deeper, 12 levels deeper,
Well, this is a 2,000-piece puzzle, and we have 24 pieces.
Yeah.
So there's no way we have anything even close to the entire story right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, was that not an interesting scene where Jane was laying there looking like she was asleep, getting all the tattoos put on?
And there were multiple people doing the tattooing.
That's what tripped me out. I was like, so she wasn't handcuffed that we could see.
I think she might have been sedated. It might have been after they gave her the... the drug.
Because she would have to lay there still enough for them to do all that.
Yeah, so I think she was some form of sedated. I would not be surprised for that.
Yeah, but she had a whole team of people.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
So this makes me think that it was a lot more than her and Oscar and whoever the heck it was that was tailing her for 3 episodes before he up and died. We still have, that was a guy.
Right. We need to see him in flashbacks now to see what his deal is.
I don't even know if I'd recognize him if he showed up in flashbacks. Like, who was the...
Right.
Oh, yeah. 11 episodes ago, he was... Okay, 8 episodes ago.
Bearded guy, right?
Bearded guy.
Bearded
something
dude.
Like that.
Yeah.
Is he her handler? Is he her bodyguard? Is he alive at this? No, he's not.
Nope. So...
He's, of the 24 pieces we have, he's the one piece that doesn't fit into anything.
Right.
We just have this piece that's floating around in there. It's like a cloud. And you're like, this could fit in anywhere. There's a billion clouds in this picture. Great.
Right. Yep.
I'm gonna wind up sticking with this puzzle metaphor for a while.
And remember,
It's really
she had a session with Dr. Borden.
Yeah, and she wasn't telling him a dang thing. He could tell that she was distracted.
Yeah.
But this was after Oscar had already given her the, you can't trust them. They're doing awful things. They're into whatever. They're, you know.
Right. Yeah. Her mind was probably running a million miles a minute.
And it's going to be really interesting to see where she goes from there.
Yeah.
Because we have the procedural part of the show. We have the team dynamics part of the show. And now we've added this third part of the show with Oscar, with telling her she can't trust them, with Oscar's little side missions. We have a third category working in here now, where we only really had two before.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's very true.
yeah, we've only just started with that. And this we're verging into predictions territory. We'll save this for later. But after the preview for next week.
Oh, it looks good.
It does. It's going to be fun and interesting.
Yeah.
Philip says that he was in the flashback from this episode. I'm assuming we're talking about Bearded Guy being in the flashback?
I don't know.
Standing next to Oscar while she was getting tattooed?
Maybe. No, because there was another. Well, not that guy.
Was that
He
a
had a
different
beard
guy?
too. The older gentleman that was in the first few episodes who was kind of following her like a ghost.
Yeah, he's the guy who died.
Yeah. But then there was another guy. There was Oscar and another guy. So it wasn't. I
Oh.
don't think it was the same guy. At least not to me, from what I can tell. I don't know.
It has
It's
been so long since we've
Come on, people.
someone in chat or someone on Twitter, can someone please confirm whether or not that was the same bearded guy?
Yeah.
Like tweet us screenshot comparisons or something, because
Yeah.
off the top of my head, I have no idea.
We don't remember.
It was so long ago. It was September.
Jessica. Hey, Jessica. Oscar needs to sashay away.
That is a great mental image.
I know.
Goodbye. Goodbye. See you later. I have a tree.
Right. I love that. Sashay away.
So let's get into what is essentially the meat of this episode.
Right.
Was the larger mission. Mm-hmm. Finding the circle of pie on Jane's thigh. Oh my God! Not only does that rhyme, but it's pieces. I cackled when pieces of pie came up, because that is
bet.
my kind of joke.
It is.
It really super is. It's like pieces of pie, and I'm like, God bless you, Patterson. You deserve all of the good things, and you have gotten none of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wrote that down one. And also, let's talk real quick about Zapata when she had her resignation letter
Before
in
we
her
get too
hand.
much further, walking into Director Mayfair's office and hearing that they found Tom's car on the bridge, the doors were open, the ID was laid out in the street, on the seat, that it looks like a suicide, but that no one really thinks it is, because it's a fairly obvious frame-up from someone who would ostensibly not go out that way.
Right. And remember we said in the ending of the past episode that they're going to start investigating his death.
But they started investigating David's.
No, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think you think they're connected? Like with David and Tom, I don't think they're connected, because Tom was a big part of the organization, where David was just like a side thing.
I feel like the CIA is going to start investigating Tom's death, and we'll see how
that's what I
that.
mean. Right.
It may not integrate into our show. We may not see that investigation unless it specifically integrates somehow into the FBI side of things.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
We're getting Fisher specifically for David and for investigating classified files being taken out of the office. And for, he's got that very specific little nut to crack. So
Right.
So there's that. He's not important enough to go investigate Tom.
Yeah.
Let's be real. None of us like Tom, but he was important.
Almost thought that he was there just to sort of implement himself in the mix of things, so he could start getting to the nitty gritty of everything, start to see what they really do there, what's really going on, that he has somewhat of a bigger purpose than just going after poor little Patterson. I mean, that's I don't know. To me, that just seemed like almost like, I don't even know the term for it, where it's like you go in and you're like, well, I'm going to use this as a
petty.
Yes. And then I'm going to really get the full picture of what's happening.
Honestly, I don't see that in him.
Okay.
I honestly, he seems
we agree
like
to disagree.
from the casting, from the way he was acting, from the no, you're just looking for power drop, he seems like one of those little pencil pushers who doesn't really have power,
Yeah.
and therefore uses whatever he can get to lord it over other people. And in this case, it's again using the law to make other people's lives miserable. I am the authority here because the law backs me up. Never mind that you're a sad, scared little man who no one likes because you're a bully
Right.
with very large backup.
Right. Well, we'll find out what his deal is.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if he winds up being more than the pencil pushing bully.
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
right now he's a pain, but he's still kind of one dimensional in that regard.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes.
Well, I was interested also in the procedural part of the show where the missing people were on the missing plane. That kind of freaked me out because it's like, they always say these planes go missing and where are all the people? I was like, ooh, ripped from the headlines, almost, kind of, sort of.
Real quick, all of chat at this point is saying that, yeah, it's the same guy.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good to know. Thank you very much, you guys. Super appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's talk about Pan Asian Flight 921. Because dang, that was a thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. As a plot overall, yes. This was super intriguing. I love where it went. I love how crazy it got. And I love that they tied it back to the pilot.
Yeah.
That it's the Dabarzan, that it's the same terrorist organization, and that Reed speaks Urdu.
Yeah.
Like, I was not expecting that.
I know. I was like, really? I thought it was going to be Jane because I'm telling you, we always talk about how many languages she speaks. I thought she was going to just start. Blah, 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 blah.
And so I love that it was just... I love that we didn't have Jane solve everything this time around, that it was Reed that speaks Urdu and that they sat her down at the controls. She's like, I don't know how to fly this. It's not that I don't remember that I know how, it's that I literally don't know how.
Right.
Help.
And then she's like, hey, I landed, yay. Her reaction cracked me up. It's like, yay,
we're not dead.
Right, we're alive, thank you.
So I like that they showed that she's still very much capable, but she didn't solve all of the problems out of the recesses of her erased memory.
Right.
That it was other people's skills that got through that. I really liked that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that using Pan Asian 921 was the best way to go. Just because
Really?
a lot of what we've had, I'm trying to put together a train of thought here. It's been a really long day, you guys. It's been a super long day. But a lot of the rip from the headlines that we've had have been just left of what the actual story was. Like, okay, we've had this drone story and it's based on, well, obviously we've been doing a lot of drone combat. We've been doing this, we've been doing that. Well, we have this story with this disease that they want to do. Well, okay, and say that, oh, they released SARS here and they did this, but they kind of made it impersonal. Pan Asian 921 was this huge mystery, and it was awful for the people who had families on board.
Right.
And so instead of making up a flight and saying, yeah, we lost this completely fictional whatever flight on this completely fictional airline, it was, no, it's that specific flight. We found it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's weird putting a fictional answer on a real life mystery.
Oh, I see what you're
Like
saying.
that might be inconsiderate for the people who are actually affected by it.
Yeah. I don't even know if they even thought about it that deep. Clearly they didn't if they put it up there.
Well, it's a very good story.
Yeah.
I mean, this is great.
That's almost on
But I
conspiracy
just
level.
worry about the implications of that and whether someone watching that really, I don't know. I'm not sure where, plot-wise, acting, writing, absolutely amazing. Emotional implications, uncertain.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a interesting take on it.
That was my hang up for
my
the
take
episode.
was more on a conspiracy level, as I always do. I like a good conspiracy theory, if I can even say it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's always the conspiracy, like the big flight from Malaysia that disappeared. Yeah. Into thin air, and they think that they took the plane to somewhere and took all those people off, and so yeah, there's always a level of conspiracy with this show and some of these other shows, which I happen to kind of like, but that's just my little humble opinion.
Oh yeah. And it's, again, just for me, it was the difference between thematically looking at the headline stuff and making something that runs parallel to it, and then directly taking this and going, and we're gonna put an answer on it. Like,
Yeah, when I heard Pan Asian, I thought, ooh, no.
Like, oh, it's that.
Yeah.
Oh, they went there.
Yeah. And I was like, well, you know, it's been so long ago though. So
That was just a weird line for me.
yeah.
So that's me.
We're agreeing to disagree tonight. How do you guys like that? And I guess chat does too sometimes.
Well, chat's talking about how Jane knows how to fly a helicopter.
Oh yeah, okay.
So she does, but helicopter controls and plane controls are not the same.
Yeah.
You know, one's an apple and one's an orange. They're both fruit, but
Somebody says share different controls, but I think she would have been trained in both. You know, I was thinking that too, because if she's SEAL, she can probably do pretty much anything. Those people were very well trained. They can fly, they can drive tanks, they can fly helicopters. You know, they may not be top experts, but they can get out of somewhere if they need to.
But I'm still okay with her not having all of the skills in the bag for this one.
Oh,
again,
I see.
I liked being able to parse it out. I liked Reed being the one to speak the language. I liked Patterson talking them through flying the plane. Like I thought that was great.
And Zapata, who knew she knew Morse code?
Yeah.
Who knew that? I was like, because, you know, a lot of younger people, and me, myself included, I'm a little older than you, but Morse code is really like, that's like back in the day. Like,
I feel like everyone knows what it is and everyone knows how to tap out SOS. But aside from that, I feel like that's a very good thing to learn.
It is.
But not many people know it.
Some people don't even know what it is.
All right, chat. That's your homework. Learn Morse code.
Just never know. If the grid goes down, we're all screwed.
If you need it, learn Morse code.
Right.
I feel like we should do that too. Check back in April and be like, have we learned it? Well, all my notes are in Morse code because I've been practicing.
I was going to say a lot of military people, even now, I think, are trained in that. I think.
Yeah.
My husband was, because he was in prior military, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the bare bones. If all else fails and your communications go down, that is what you have.
Right.
And so I'd be very surprised if a lot of military personnel aren't trained in Morse code.
And I like that she knew that.
If they need it. So they wind up on the Dark Isles, which is evidently in the middle of the Black Sea, and occasionally pirates stay there if the seas are too rough, but really there's not enough illegal activity for anyone to really care about it. So an agent from Turkey meets them there, takes them to the Isles. They find the plane in the warehouse, and lo and behold, there's the Dabrazan, who shoot the Turkish agent. Like, I wrote down his name, and 30 seconds later, they shot him. And I was like, well, what was the point of that?
Right.
I learned your name and everything.
I know.
Barat.
Okay.
Barat. His name was Barat. You know, rest in peace. I will remember you. All that fun stuff.
He was very nice.
He was very nice. That poor man. He was just doing his job.
Yeah.
So he's super dead.
Yeah.
And they capture them. They destroy their satellite phones. They drag them off to be tortured. Who else knows you're here? Do you know about the plan? Why are you here? With a cattle prod.
Ooh.
Like, yikes.
Yeah.
I
was like, oh, okay, that hurt. I wrote down, ouch. Ouch.
I wrote, okay, interrogation. Great. God damn it. Like, those are my notes.
Here we go.
I like that we got subtitles for the important bits.
Yeah.
Or more like subtitles for the bits that Reed understood. So we could kind of follow along.
Right. As if we would know what that was.
And I feel like we haven't seen much torture on this show. We got it fairly early on, and then we got it last episode and this episode. So I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued that we seem to have turned a corner on that one.
Yep. I agree.
And the Dabrazan take them to the barracks, where it turns out they are keeping all of the rest of the passenger. Like, what are the logistics for that? How do you have enough supplies?
Yeah.
Because they have to keep them as a labor force, because they have them building stuff. So you can't just kind of let them die out and say, forget it.
Oh, you mean the people that are in there?
Yeah.
I was wondering, excuse me, I got a cough, but.
Go for it.
Pardon me. I was wondering, had that not been a recent capture? Because those people look like they'd been there just maybe a week or so, maybe not that quite that long. They didn't look emaciated. They didn't look starved.
But this is also Hollywood extras.
This is true,
mind you. So we can't be like, you're an extra. You're going to be on screen you're only going to shoot for like 3-4 hours, but we need you to look really emaciated. Can you?
Well, no. They do. They'll say they want skinny people. You know,
True.
they'll say they want to, you know, but gaunt people or very thin people, things like that. But I was just thinking that had probably been a recent, sort of recent event. That they hadn't been there for like years or anything.
But if you assume that this is taking place, because Pan Asian 921 happened a while ago.
Yeah.
Like, couple of years.
Yeah.
And if you assume that the show is taking place in present day, which I'm not entirely certain if it is, but I have no reason to assume it's not, given the level of technology and what we see. They've still been there a few years.
Really? You think?
Yeah.
What do you think, Chet? I don't know. I'd say that was a recent kind of thing, but that's just my opinion again.
Well, and that's a long-running operation, and you have to have people there building however many of the microsatellites they need. And these are, for the most part, people who are not skilled in that sort of building. So not only do you need to kidnap, evidently her name's Susan Albright, she and her coworkers were aerospace engineers that were on the flight coming back from a conference. That's why it got brought down. So, you know, she feels massively guilty about everything because they're here because of me and my microsatellite technology.
They killed her poor husband.
So you would need to kidnap the person or people that you need for this, convince them to give you the specifications, etc., set up an assembly line or a workshop, gather the supplies that people would need to build them, and get the people who are not skilled in this sort of thing, get them trained on how to build them, have them do it right, etc. Like, this isn't something you can accomplish in a couple of months, especially since there were escape attempts. She dragged her feet at first. Like, this isn't something that can be a very recent thing. So saying that it's Pan Asian 921 is also saying this happened then, we're only just finding them now. So there's a lot, I imagine there's a lot of planning going into this operation, and that it's a very, very long-term one.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory.
What's yours?
That was mine. I told you it was like I thought they had been there. I didn't think they had been there that long, but you know, that's just my take on it. So what is chat saying here?
That they were being kept healthy so they could work.
Yeah,
which, you know, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and that was an island and where, you know, nobody's policing. So
yeah, and it's finicky little work. There's got to be like welding involved. Well, they said 3D printers made them easy to make, but they also said there's an assembly line and they make us make them. So
okay, all right.
So yeah, the whole plan with that is get them up to 60,000 feet, launch them with the use of a Pegasus missile, and that they are going to use the tiny little microsatellites, which are just basically small cube satellites, to take out all of the U.S. military satellites.
Yikes.
To wipe out the GPS, which would basically leave everyone running blind, no eyes in the sky. That's fairly rough. That is, and that's an understatement.
Yeah. And of course, Weller and Jane crawl into the wheel well of the plane.
You know, I've never quite figured out if that's possible. I feel like that's something that Snopes has covered, whether or not you can actually get into the passenger areas of a plane up through the wheel well.
Yeah.
Like, I've never figured out if that's a Hollywood conceit or if that's doable. Again, we leave it to chat.
Right.
Chat, does Snopes have anything to say about it? I feel like Snopes would know.
Yeah, probably. But, you know, like you said, this is Hollywood. They have a way of crawling in there, opening a trap door, and going in there. Squeezing in the little thing up there where all the engine stuff is.
Can totally fit Weller up in there. That's great. Yeah, that's great. We're going to do that.
Yeah, he's only 6'1", 6'2". You know.
Sure.
Right. Exactly.
And they also managed to get I thought for sure the police officer was that Mike the police officer, I was so sure he was going to die.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Because they needed a source for the satellite phone that they put together. They need a power source. Well, the cattle prod has a battery. All right, let's go get the cattle prod. And then he winds up making himself a distraction. So Kurt makes himself a distraction so Mike can get away and get the battery back. And they just managed to get out a Morse code message to Patterson saying, you know, FBI, SOS, look, we've been captured. Also, we found Pan Am 921. So that is a thing.
Yeah.
Just barely managed to get that out. And then the Dabrazan had a setup for one of the execution videos that unfortunately we have seen more than one of in the media with sit down, read the thing, now we're going to kill you on video. Tried and true methods.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't make light of that one.
Nope. Luckily, Jane got out of that and she handled it.
Honestly, that was an interesting way to do the zip ties. Whoever did that was just not good at their jobs.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely ways to break zip ties when you are tied together.
Yeah.
And that was just like, you left it loose enough that she could wiggle out. You are so bad at your job.
Yeah. What did Jessica say? She says, I thought the guy's remark, did you know we were here? What is it?
Did you know we were here? His tone made it sound recent, but they'd been missing. So it's basically a whole lot of, we still don't know.
There was a Malaysian flight that went missing in March in 2014. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah. So I had all kinds of stuff going on in this episode.
And what I love how they interweaved Patterson's story with this at the end with, no, you can't suspend her. We literally need her right now. Yeah. And it wound up being her extremely specific set of skills that saved the day.
Yeah. Yep.
And I adored Fisher watching her work because he can do this, she can do this, she can contact the plane, she can figure out the angle of their descent, she can talk them through turning off the engines. Like, she's got all these ideas, and then figuring out whether or not they'll be able to glide back down safely. It's like, I did the math, and I'm going, where? How?
Right.
In my head, where math is done. Please don't interrupt. Just like, bless you. You are my favorite.
And basically, she was telling them to beat it. To screw off.
I think she was just kind of in hyper-focused work mode, and that she probably wouldn't have said anything like that had it been a normal conversation.
Yeah.
But, you know, normal conversational Patterson and hyper-focused work mode, their lives depend on me right now, Patterson. It's like flipping a switch.
Yeah.
Two very different people.
Yeah, I like her in hyper work mode.
Oh, yeah, hyper-focused work mode Patterson is just like, people get things done.
She's getting stuff
and
done.
It's glorious.
Let's say getting her done.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so they managed to bring the plane down safely, and, you know, I think they've killed most of the terrorists.
Yeah.
I love all of the passengers. Like, they armed the passengers and said, shoot anyone that isn't us. And then 5 minutes later, the passengers all came running out with their guns to take out the terrorists. Like, we are so tired of being stuck here. Oh, my God.
Right.
And if you guys don't win, surprise, they're going to murder us all.
They're going to kill everybody.
So at that point, it's just like, you know what? We're going to do it. Let's do it.
Right. That's true. This was a good episode. I like the pacing of it.
Oh,
I like the pacing of it. I like the storyline. Now, if they continue to go this route with the rest of the shows, it's going to be a good season.
And again, we have 3 parts to it now instead of just the 2, because we have the procedural.
Yeah.
And we have, as far as team dynamics go, our overarching thing looks like it's going to be Fisher and Mayfair sticking her neck out for her agents, because Fisher said, where is it? Well, there it is, the beginning of your end. Because
I forgot he said that.
Mayfair told him that he could stick it where the sun doesn't shine, because they need Patterson there. They need her skills. They need her specific abilities. And putting her on indefinite suspension is just like, well, you've crippled the team. Congratulations. Hush.
Right. Yeah.
So there's going to be that. There's going to be Jane and Kurt's relationship. And then our third part is going to be Oscar.
Oscar
The Grouch. Oscar the Tree.
Yeah. Oscar the Tree. Yeah.
So I they're not producers, etc. do look at podcasts pertaining to their show, and reviews like that might help us get some guests on as well. It's everything helps, you guys. Everything helps.
Oh, I would love to get guests.
Oh my God, tell me about it.
Any of them are very welcome to come on. Come on, people, come on.
Any and all of them. Obviously, there is space at the table.
Yeah. Right, we have enough room for everybody.
Yes, group hug. So yeah, go on to iTunes, rate, subscribe on YouTube, do all of the fun stuff, and if you leave iTunes reviews, we will give you a shout out on the show. I honestly don't remember the date of our last episode because it was so long ago, so I don't know if the reviews that we have there are new. I will do some homework and then figure it out. But in the meantime, if you leave a review before next week, get it read on the air, because we adore you guys.
Yes.
You have any final thoughts?
I do not. Just excited about the next episode.
Me too.
That's it.
So where can the people find you?
I am at Stephanie G3360 on Instagram and Twitter, and Stephanie Garrett 3360 on YouTube.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. I am also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. I am on so many of the after shows. Star Wars Rebels is on Wednesdays. Transformers, Robots in Disguise. I can do words, you guys. It's back on Sunday nights. We are having a blast, and Arrow is doing its weird little spring break hiatus thing, but it will be back on Wednesdays at the end of the month. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.